Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Heat notes: Richardson, K. Johnson, Haslam, Ware. Heat swingman Josh Richardson is just starting to get back to basketball after undergoing a season-ending labrum procedure on his right shoulder in early March, writes Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald. Richardson, who wasn't able to resume shooting until July 2, is hoping to be ready for the start of training camp, but he admits that's the optimistic goal and says no official timetable has been set. "I've had 3 days on the court now," he said. "I'm shooting like mid-ranges. That's the farthest I can shoot. I'm shooting little floaters here and there, but I can't shoot threes yet. But it's good for me because I can kind of break my shot down and work it back up from the bones." Richardson averaged 9.9 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 43 games last season, and Chang notes that he was playing his best basketball right before the injury occurred. He had the chance to test the free agent market this summer, but he decided to pick up his option and remain in Miami on a veteran's minimum deal that will pay him roughly $3 million. "Nobody wants to play on a minimum, to be honest," Richardson said. "But yeah, I had offers when I came back for more. But it's kind of the crib. So it's one of those things that you're kind of like, what's important? Hopefully this season I can find that form for longer and play like I know I can play and make them pay me." There's more on the Heat. Keshad Johnson was inspired by a speech delivered to the Summer League team this week by longtime franchise cornerstone Udonis Haslam, Chang states in a separate story. Johnson signed a 2-way contract after going undrafted out of Arizona, which means he'll have to fight for his spot in the league, just like Haslam did 2 decades ago. "He touched on every topic possible, honestly," Johnson said. "As much as he was saying, I feel like him just being up there was speaking to me, speaking to my soul, speaking to who I need to be as an overall player and what I need to mold my career after." Johnson's status for the rest of Summer League may be in jeopardy after he left today's game in the third quarter with a sprained left ankle, per Ira Winderman of the Sun-Sentinel, although Johnson expressed hope he might be ready for Friday's game. "Ankle is good," he said. "Still got adrenaline going right now. Just a little sprain. It happens with the game of basketball and everything. Take it day by day, get as much treatment as possible." First-round pick Kel'el Ware continues to impress in Summer League action, Chang adds. The rookie center posted 24 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 6 dunks in Wednesday's win over Dallas as the Heat improved to 3-0 in Las Vegas. "I do have to give a shout-out, Kel'el did a heck of a job," Coach Dan Bisaccio said. "We continue to challenge him defensively. He took that challenge. Everything at the rim was contested. We want to continue to see that. Obviously, this is never enough. But we're really happy with him anchoring our defense today." Isaiah Stevens, proving he belongs in the NBA. Isaiah Stevens has made a strong case for a 2-way contract with the Miami Heat. Over Miami's 3 victories in the NBA Summer League out in Las Vegas, Stevens has averaged 10 points and 8.7 assists per game. He's shooting 57% from the floor and 75% from deep. He's currently a top 20 player in plus-minus as well, plus 13. In Wednesday's 92-79 win over the Dallas Mavericks, Stevens scored 12 points, dished out 8 assists, and he pulled down 4 rebounds. He only attempted 5 shots in the win, so it was a relatively quiet game in terms of shooting volume. But in a lot of ways it was the perfect example of why he's a good candidate for an opportunity in the NBA. Stevens doesn't need to put up 15 shots or dribble the basketball until it deflates in order to positively impact his team. If the opportunity to swing the ball is there, or an open man is somewhere within his vision, Zay is always going to make the right play. He's as unselfish as he is intelligent, and he's almost always thinking 2 steps ahead of the defense. Stevens is the rare kind of player that truly elevates everyone around him. While Stevens may not be the same high-volume scorer in the pros that he was in Fort Collins, he is most certainly a clutch individual. And he's more than capable of getting a big bucket when you need it. After the Mavericks pulled within two early in the fourth quarter, Stevens put the ball on the floor and showed off his touch with a gorgeous floater within a few feet of the hoop. A few minutes later, with Dallas still hanging within two possessions, Stevens drilled a step-back three from 26 feet to extend Miami's lead to 7 with 6:43 to go. The Mavericks would never get any closer than 5 points down from that point forward. Though he did have a pair of turnovers late, in the final moments of the game you could see the type of poise that Ram fans were spoiled to watch for 5 straight years. Over the final 3 minutes alone, Stevens had a defensive rebound, recorded a key assist, and he drilled a three. He also went 2 of 2 at the free throw line. When the game gets intense and the lights get bright, that's when you want somebody that's cool, calm, and collected to be running the show. As ESPN's Seth Greenberg consistently pointed out on the TV broadcast Wednesday afternoon, that's Stevens in a nutshell. He does a great job of playing at his own pace, Greenberg said during the game. Niko Medved did a great job at Colorado State of getting him ready for this spot. Stevens makes hard plays look simple, Greenberg would say later on. While I could point out that Stevens' impact is made evident by Miami's undefeated record, I'll concede that you kinda have to take all of the results in the Summer League with a grain of salt. Just because the wins and losses don't matter as much, though, does not mean you should dismiss that the Heat are clearly a better team when he's out on the floor. In a recent interview with the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, Miami assistant and Summer League HC Dave Bisaccio praised Zay's ability to get the offense organized. "I have complete trust in him with that," he said. "What Stevens is doing well for Miami right now is exactly what you'd want to see from a potential backup point guard on a playoff team. He knows his role and doesn't try to do too much out there. But he also picks key spots to be a little more aggressive when the moment calls for it." Miami Heat may have cooled off in pursuit of 3-time All-Star point guard. Trae Young has seemingly gone from a coveted third star to an afterthought for the Miami Heat. A year or so ago, several insiders suggested that the Miami Heat were willing to trade any player on the roster to build a big three involving Young. With just a few months left in the 2024-25 season, however, the Miami Heat have reportedly cooled their interest in Young, according to ESPN's Zach Lowe. If the Miami Heat were to offer all of their 2029 and 2031 tradable picks and some other good stuff, Trae Young could be on the Miami Heat right now, Lowe said on his Low Post podcast. These deals did not happen. I heard teams cooled on him, and here we are. Lowe noted that Young feels out of place in a Hawks franchise that is likely entering a rebuild after trading DeJounte Murray and selecting Zachary Rizicher with the first overall pick in this year's draft. It's one of the worst-kept secrets in NBA circles that Young is available via trade, but several teams have been hesitant to make bids for the Hawks point guard due to his hefty contract. The 25-year-old has 3 seasons remaining on the 5-year, $215 million extension he signed with the Hawks in 2021. In addition to Young, Murray and Donovan Mitchell were previously earmarked as potential Miami Heat targets this summer. With 2 of those players now unavailable, Mitchell signed a long-term extension with the Cavaliers and Murray found a new home in New Orleans. Young could be the Lakers' last hope of adding star power before the 2024-25 season. During the last campaign, Young averaged 25.7 points and averaged 10.8 assists. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Trae Young? Leave your opinion in the comments.